What is going to cause me problems down the road? Biggest thing I see on a blower, fuel. We talked about that, bad fuel. The next is a plugged exhaust, right? So all of these machines behind me and around me have an exhaust screen in them. It's a spark arrestor. It's to prevent sparks from flying out and starting a fire. It's a necessary thing. They come in them. This little guy, in order to get into it, you can kind of see the screen right in there. And that guy actually just slides out. It's a little bit of a challenge to get into. So usually what I'll do with this is take off the starter. 1, 2, 3 screws, and this starter cover will come off. Once that's off, I can bend up the tab that's holding the screen down and I can slide it out. Well, how do I know when I need to deal with a plugged exhaust? You'll tell. When you pull the rope, it's going to sound different. It's going to sound muffled. It's going to sound like it can't breathe. It's not letting it out. So when you fire this thing up in 2 years down the road and it doesn't want to accelerate, that's something I would look at. Well, how does this plug? Why does this happen? You know what? Why doesn't Stihl get their stuff together and not make it plug up? It plugs from a couple things. One is stale fuel. Okay, fine, I got it. You don't have stale fuel. 2 is over mixing. Maybe you used a bottle and a half to a gallon, because a little bit more is always better, right? When you do the laundry and you put in a little bit more, or the dishes, more oil is not better. It causes problems. It doesn't all burn up, and that screen in there gets plugged. Okay, no, I always mix it right. I get it, right? Okay, so you've got fresh fuel. You always mix it perfect. Dirty air filter. That will cause this. So my air filter is right under here. I got these 2 little tabs that I push in, and this cover sneaks out, and here is my air filter. If this thing is dirty, if this thing is restricted, it causes this machine to run rich, right? Rich running, that is not burning the fuel as well, and you will plug up that exhaust screen. And honestly, the most common reason we see exhausts get plugged has to do with not running it hard enough. Okay, this guy wants to run. It wants to run hot. It wants to run hard. And when I go quarter throttle, sort of putz around, it doesn't burn that oil that's in the gas as well. And eventually what happens is it plugs up the screen. So run it hard. Hey, I know there's areas around the property, maybe like your front door. My house, my front door is set in, right? And so if I use that blower in full blow mode, it just is coming all over me and making a mess. So I'm going to go light around there, move the debris out, and then I'm going to hit it hard. Before you park it, before you put it away, run this thing hard. Burn it out. Don't just Sunday drive this thing all the time. And that'll avoid a plugged spark arrestor. So we do see how to get to the air filter. My spark plug is right here. Usually I take something like this and kind of try to pry it off. I'm going to tell you guys, the first time you take these spark plug boots off of Stihl, here I'm struggling right here, they're tight. And I do see people just rip them, and uh-oh, the spark plug boot's in my hand, and they can't hook it back up. So you really want to kind of wiggle that off to pull it off, to pry it off. How often should I do a spark plug? How often should I be replacing a spark plug? To be honest, whenever you feel like it, I'd say every couple of years. There we go. Spark plug boot is off. My spark plug is right here. Something that's not usually going to go bad if I'm running good gas, good oil, if I'm running it hard, if I have a clean air filter. But nobody wants to go out to use a machine and have a spark plug fail, have fouled out, be bad. So I replace mine every year on mine. It's $3.50, $4. It's cheap. What else do we got to know about this thing? What are the problems that we see? Okay, we see the plugged spark arrestor. We see a dirty air filter. We see starter rope problems once in a while. So this has the standard, you got to rip it to start it, but always give it a little pull so you've engaged the starter. That way I'm not, bang, hitting it quite as hard. All right, that's a quick overview. You got this cool machine. You want to be running it in 10 or 15 years. Do these things, treat it well, and you will love your Stihl BG50 blower.